Hey, beautiful souls. So today, let's rattle the cage a bit. Rattle the cage of reality. I recently watched the latest video of the quantum businessman, and I've talked about him before, and I've put links to his videos in my community page on YouTube. His concepts really resonate with me. They are along the lines of how I was shown to look at this world and this reality. Ambriatike zushende kike, arati jenzekimia ka, andriakiku aseasunya kaya. So I will put a link to his latest YouTube video in the description for you to have a look at the end. But he's essentially talking about this as a programmable reality, that we are in one respect in a virtual reality game. And again, all of these terms that I'm using have an associative memory. They have an associated concept attached to them. So try not to have a reaction or look at your reaction to the words that I'm using. Let's try and look at this world from a very different perspective for the next 30 minutes or so. So step out of who you are and how you see the world and have for a moment this different perspective. What he is saying, what Christopher is saying on the Quantum Businessman, is that we program the reality with our consciousness. We program this world, what we are experiencing with our consciousness. And I've always understood this and have had many experiences of affecting the reality with my mind, whether that is affecting the weather or affecting the traffic around me. Lots of different ways I've consciously chosen to affect what is unfolding in front of me. So we are all creating our reality moment by moment, day by day, all the time. So when I say I want you to create your reality, to see what it is you want to unfold in front of you, you are already doing that. We are already doing that in a very unconscious way. And most of the opinions and most of the frequencies and energies come from in this inner perspective, what I call the inner child. But this is also unseen or unexplored for many of us. Ambriatise ekuka andea shunniaka eziti eneaku se indiakeko. So many years ago, I was taken through the grid, and I have a video on the grid further down in my channel. So let me go through that a little bit here. The grid, as I experienced it, is the structure at the bones or the foundation of this reality. There is a connotation. It has people have concepts about this grid. They think of it as a cage. They think of it as a trap. They think of it as something that is keeping us in this 3D level. And in a way, we are trapped by it because we are unconscious of the effect that we are having on it or can have from it, from these unseen aspects. For many, many years, hundreds if not thousands of years, we've been conditioned to give our power away, whether that be to religion, to royalty, to governments, to corporations. Lots of these structures or organizations that are put above us, that God is in heaven and judges us, or that royalty deserve more than we do because they have royal blood. This concept of us being less than or less worthy than these people that say have money or have power or have the ability to control a majority of the planet we give our power away to them. And so for many years, that's what we've been conditioned to believe. And so these concepts are in here, in our unseen aspects, in our inner child, in a way as well. Because where we get these concepts from is often from our family, from how our parents were raised. And they've been raised in these conditioned ways as well. And this is often generational. So many of us now are waking up. We are beginning to see this programming. We are beginning to see this conditioning and choosing to be powerful creator beings in the here and now. Now, as I've said before, you can say, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Or you can say, I'm a powerful creative God. I'm a powerful creative being. I know what I want. I go for it. I get it. And it is mine. But often we begin to say it from here, from a head, from an awareness perspective. And we don't see it, what really is in the depths of our energy frequency. So the example that I've given before is about the story that I tell about a mother and a father and a child who were having breakfast one morning. So bear with me if you've heard this story before. There will be people who haven't yet. So the father offers to take the child to school so that the mother can go to work. So the father and child pile in the car, off they go to school and then on to work. But on the way, they have a car accident and the father is killed and the child, the boy, is taken to the hospital for surgery because he's very badly injured. And the surgeon comes into the operating theatre and looks down at the little boy and says, I cannot operate on this child. It is my son. So the question is, who is the surgeon? And many people in my experience over the last 15, 20 years, because I use this experience or this story many times to show something, who is the surgeon? And people say, is it the stepfather? And it doesn't compute it for a little while. And when I say that the surgeon is the mother, people suddenly go, oh my God, I can't believe that I didn't see that or recognize that. And the deal is, the situation is that in our brain, we have surgeon connected to male. We have an associative memory that is very deeply programmed into us. It may even come in as a part of the neural net pathway we are born with. And this is what can happen with some of the ideas and concepts we live and breathe by. That it isn't just something we learn in this life, it is something that we come in through a genetic line, understanding or believing or knowing as a truth. So when we are beginning to say, I am a powerful creative being, we will have an opinion about that. When we say that this reality is programmable, we will have a deeper level of acceptance or non-acceptance, maybe, that we are not aware of. So we have to challenge our doubt, our hesitation, and our procrastination when we are attempting to step back into our power and know that this reality is programmable and is influenced by our thoughts and our emotions. So the energy we sit in every day, the energy we emit long term, determines what is magnetized to us. It's almost like our day doesn't really exist as a reality. It's a potential, a wave of potential. So when we wake up in the morning, there are maybe 10 more potentials of how our day will unfold and how we begin to step through that day determines which one of those potentials turns from a wave into the particle that we are living in or walking in. So this is the concept of creating your day. This is the concept of when the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is to sit quietly and imagine your day unfolding as you would choose it to unfold, feeling the emotions of that situation, that success, that experience, and sort of setting that in motion, setting that wave of intent into motion. So how does the grid fit into this? It was shown to me that the grid exists at a very high frequency. And it is, as I said, the bones of the structure we are in. Oretikendi astunyeke ezekariata ambariateku ejondagia kambandia eziti senyaku edarianyaka. So it has no opinion about what we are going through. It doesn't live within the world of polarity in a way like we do. It doesn't want us to do something or not want us to do something. So when we begin to understand that we're creator beings, we can have a direct effect on what that grid is, the bones of the structure that we wish to unfold. Aretike ejutandariakeka. So that grid is limitless. That grid is huge. And everybody's utilizing it in the way they need to. And as the quantum businessman explains it, we're existing in our own bubble of reality, and our bubbles intersect from time to time. But as I was saying to a friend this morning, she is experiencing rain for the first time where she lives in a very, very hot place. And she's enjoying that. And when we were talking about this concept, there will be people in a way in the same town that she's living in that are not experiencing rain because it's not in their energy to, or in their reality, to think that it could be any other way. They might wish it and want it, but they don't declare it and know it and consciously choose to experience it. So the grid is there. The grid is programmable. And we are programming it with our emotions and our feelings. So I'm going to mention also a book that I read quite a few years ago called Mass Dreams of the Future. And this shows that there are infinite number of possibilities that are available for us to step into. This woman was a regression hypnotherapist, and she would take her clients into the past to help resolve things that were happening now. And so what she did one day was take one of her clients into the future, what she perceived or they assumed was the future. And she got some interesting results. So she spoke to her colleagues all around the United States and got them to take their clients, if they were willing, 100 years, 200 years, and 300 years into the future. Now, what this means is that each of these people that were hypnotized, were encouraged to stay on Earth. This was Earth future they were going into. And when they collated all of the results, there were three main reality timelines. The first group believed ultimately they were still in 3D, a 3D reality. There was war and conflict and famine, drought, violence, etc. The second group mainly formed into the timeline where the ETs intervened. And the ETs, our extraterrestrials, or wherever you think they come from, have come into this reality to assist us, to heal it, to give us technology to improve our life, to be less having an influence on the planet or on animals, etc., etc. So essentially, this was a technologically advanced time. Then the third group, the most common way to define what was the third group was experiencing on Earth was they no longer needed bodies. They no longer needed a physical form, and they were pure energy. And Earth had no structures on it. Earth had gone on to become all nature, just trees and clean rivers and beautiful oceans, and all the animals were healthy. And the beings that wished to stay in that environment, who were human initially, were all energy beings. All of the people that were hypnotized all believed they were still on Earth. And this is how people generally programmed their timeline. This was what people expected and wanted and felt and knew and believed and experienced. Ambriat sekute unjiat saka chetsanya teba, koriende kika, setushan seakunyaka, dutrianakika. So by rattling the cage, I mean, step out and look at yourself and look at this world and say, is this what I want? Can I choose a different reality? Now, when you begin to itemize what it is you would like to experience or refine what it is you would like to experience, you will begin to come up against the programming of all of those hundreds, if not thousands of years of royalty, of religion, of government, of corporations, of the medical industry. All of these tell you over and over, we have your answers. We know better than you. And you will begin to feel how you feel about butting up against that. And it's in this life set up in your inner child. Ambreatsuku yoto, ingekamatia jetende ku etsianaka, izetushtanyaka, areti enyukika, areti azotayo shenya, areti ombakaya. Oretikuyo, umbeati seasikanya, akea suyet sezanya. And so how do emotions fit into this? If you saw my last video, you know that I've been going through some deep emotional release and cleansing. And in one respect, emotions are a feature of this programmable reality. It is an extra level of challenge. So if we're going to look at it as a game, it's like a golf handicap. It's like, okay, I'm going to deal with this. And let me say again, we are stepping out and looking at this, what we're going through from a different way, a different reality. And look, again, I acknowledge that it's incredibly tough what we're going through, and that the most important thing is to have compassion for ourselves and for others and what we're going through. But stepping out and looking back at it the way that I'm encouraging you to is beneficial in many ways that you will come to understand as you do it. So the emotions are another level of difficulty. And some people have said, I want, put the meter up, I'm going to have a 10 level tough emotional life. And other people have said, oh, look, I'm only going to have a 3 level tough emotional life. So if we look at the emotions as a variable, as something that is an important part of the game to overcome and understand, then as we move beyond defining them as good or bad, but just as a facet of the game, they no longer hold us back. And that's what they're, in a way, they've been utilized for by the powers that were, the powers that be, the powers that were, because it is so much a part of who we are, those emotions as a human being, that they understand they can tweak the program and tweak us by showing us war, by making us worry about climate change, by keeping us in struggle with, because of the disparity between the haves and the have-nots. So the emotions are a facet of the game. And when you look at it and look at them that way, it helps you see them as well in a different way and assists you to move through them. So be patient with this facet of the game. Be patient with where you are here. And then come out and look back at it. Come out and look back at this from a programmable reality. Ejukanya tsekebetika oratikenya se tukurio no kuko ojendiaka indiakia se si andiaka. So play a little game in the next few days or weeks. Start looking at, okay, that's what normally happens. How could I tweak it? How can I declare something different? My friend was doing it with the weather. In a very hot city, she was not coping. So I talked to her about altering the weather with her mind, with her feelings, with her thoughts. Imagine being a cloud. Imagine being the drops falling to the earth. Imagine the steam coming off the sidewalk and you are that steam. Because in truth, everything in your reality has your quantum signature. It is you. It is made up of you. As your body is made up of you, your quantum components. And who you are isn't the avatar, it's the being inside who's having this experience, who's the participant in the game. So start seeing if you can imagine things being different and see if you can affect your reality in small ways. And as you begin to practice, try doing it on bigger things and watch your first reaction to trying to do that. Because that will show you what your association is, your link is in your brain, in your neural net, like surgeon, male, etc. So, beautiful souls, have fun, and I'll speak to you again. Bye.